What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about SoundHound, I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in stock price, and where I see things going from here. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound did have a absolutely kick-ass day on Friday, up 16.05%. So one thing that really drove the momentum was the news that did come out about them participating at the Nvidia GTC 2025. So I think there's some grayness. I've seen some posts on social media saying that they are doing a presentation. Based on this, they only have a booth. They don't have any, they're not doing any speeches. Of course, they might do some actual presentations at their own booth itself, but full kind of front stage type of stuff, they aren't. So again, I just wanted to kind of distinguish that and clear the air. But essentially though, it's still good for SoundHound because based on their news, they're going to be kind of demoing what they do. At the same time, they will be actually at the, it looks like Oracle one as well, at the Oracle booth. So pretty good kind of collaboration in that regard as well. But nonetheless, this should be a very good catalyst for SoundHound. Aside from that though, it's going to be kind of the macro data points. So there's a lot of big ones coming out. So retail sales, permits, starts, but in reality, it is going to be Wednesday. That is going to be kind of the big deal in the market, and that's going to be the decision rate. And so ultimately, there won't be any change based on everything. So it's going to stick at that 4.5. But what is stated afterwards, my opinion is Powell is going to reiterate exactly what he stated roughly a week and a half ago, that the data points are good, that the economy is strong, but not enough to really justify any rate cuts. So I think in reality, once he states that again, the market is going to calm and really push higher. So I think this week is going to be a very big week for SoundHound, even coming from a technical standpoint. So let me know your general thoughts on that. Aside from that, do you think that the Nvidia GTC conference is a good reason to buy SoundHound because of that? Or do you think it's just regular PR kind of stuff? So yeah, what's your kind of 2 cents on that? Aside from all that fun stuff though, going into this upcoming week, 32.46% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 116.3 million shares. I have noticed the cost to borrow minimum has been dropping quite dramatically, in fact. So it is at 0.35, meaning that there is a broker out there that's really starting to incentivize shorting by pretty much lowering the fee. In reality, 0.35 is very low. That's an annual rate, not a daily rate. So you might see potentially maybe there's some correlation there on the broker who's doing it versus who's shorting it. So again, hopefully the SEC transparency rule doesn't get pushed back again, because as I've mentioned in the past, it was supposed to be first half of 2025. Unfortunately, it did get pushed back to the second half of 2025. But again, I think that's, I don't know, it might, who knows what happens, right? Big players won't want that to be fully enforced, because that means like everyone's hand will be shown. We'll be able to see who exactly is shorting SoundHound, who's long, who's lying, all of the fun jazz. So again, that's going to be an interesting thing. But going into this upcoming week, shorts are going to be most likely pulling back at the beginning part, and then depending on what is stated on Wednesday, then this is where you could see them react accordingly. But starting on Monday, you should see a nice bump up, because given the nice run that SoundHound did have, you have roughly 5,000 at 9, 6,000 at 950. Then you also have 9,000 at 10, all in the money. So market makers will have to cover that because they don't have a lot of volatile stocks such as SoundHound in their inventory. So that could give a nice bump up as they buy on Monday. I think there was some abnormal transactions that did occur after hours on Friday. So some of this right here could be them already. So you have 27.3 million. 7 million, 7 million, 1.4. So a lot of abnormal transactions that did occur on Friday, which after hours on a Friday is normally dead. So essentially a lot of that could be market makers at the same time already covering a lot of their shares. But I think there is still a lot of good momentum going into this upcoming week. On a technical standpoint, with it at 1034, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 1010 is going to be a strong support. 1115 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. You're going to have a psychological kind of point of 1050, and that is because of options. So looking forward into this upcoming week, going back over here for a second, it is a monthly chain, so a little bit more active, but you have 5,000 at that 10, 5,000 at 1050, 33,000 at that 12. So for whatever reason, if SoundHound is able to get above 12, you could see shorts really wake up to try to suppress SoundHound below that $12 strike price. Similarly, or I guess flip side, if SoundHound is able to close above that, then this is where you could see and prompt a little bit of a gamma squeeze in that capacity. But just kind of watch for the technicals overall. If it does get above that 1115, this is where essentially you could see easily that $13 range. Options is signaling for $13 to kind of be hit for this upcoming week. So I don't know, let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from that, there hasn't been all that much in analyst ratings, but you never know if they do, let's say, put out a good piece of news. That way they can kind of present it at this conference right here. Maybe analysts will start to revisit it, possibly, but these are the last ratings that did come out. So analysts are still relatively bullish. So as a consensus, $15.80 is that price target, representing a 52.8% upside. So 26, 13, 8, all fairly, or subtract the 8, all fairly good ratings minus that one. But I think all in all, like I said, this upcoming week, the market is really wanting to push higher. SoundHound's going to piggyback off of that because it did go down quite significantly because of that Nvidia news. And as I've kind of shared with you, I think that was largely unjustified. But right now, looking forward into this upcoming week, the 100-day moving average is sitting at 1201. So if it is able to get above that, then this is where, like I said, it'll be trading between that, looks like 50-day moving average and 100. So it'll kind of be wedge bound between there. And then, of course, dependent on the data at the time, could push above that 13, but the bulls are anticipating for it to be somewhere around that $13 range, so kind of hitting that 50-day moving average. So I think this upcoming week should be good. No matter what, though, I think regardless, all this is just short-term noise talking about tariffs. So every time it does hit that like $8.80 range, I think that's a very good time to potentially buy. But again, you guys do whatever floats your boat, do your own due diligence at the end of the day. But I do feel might be premature to kind of say that might be tentatively the bottom. Again, there's a lot of different external things that could happen that's outside of SoundHound's control, such as if Trump does start talking about tariffs again, or many other things that could really affect SoundHound and just the broader market. But essentially on a technical standpoint and just what is coming up for catalysts, I feel like there is a little bit more upside that SoundHound could see. So let me know your general thoughts on SoundHound. Where do you see things going for this upcoming week? Do you think it's going to pull back down to, let's say, the $9, $8 range, or do you think it's going to push higher to 12, 13, or do you not really care about the short-term stuff? Are you investing in the long term? I do feel by the end of, let's say, 2025 or early 2026, SoundHound, if they do accomplish what they kind of laid out in their last earnings, then I could easily see a retest of that $25 range, assuming we don't go into a kind of a black hole on a macro standpoint. But like I said, this is the reason why I still cover SoundHound. I like SoundHound, and I know that even though their management doesn't really portray themselves the best through a lot of these actual conferences, the product should be able to sell itself in the foreseeable future, right? Because it doesn't matter if we're in a bull market or a bear market, any company trying to increase efficiency is going to do rather well. And that's actually why a lot of people are starting to focus on Palantir, because they have that same mentality. They are there to increase efficiency. No different than SoundHound. Just, I feel like SoundHound, they're conflicted. They're trying to portray themselves as an AI play, whereas they need to really, at the same time, be pushing that, hey, we're here to increase efficiency, and we're going to do that because of blah, blah, blah. So I think the last fireside chat that did happen last week was very good. They did hit that home, that point that, hey, we're here to increase efficiency, and we do that through this, which is also going to include, obviously, kind of allude to more partnerships. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend thus far. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. Just did a SoundHound update as well, and I'll be putting out some other stocks to really watch for this upcoming week. So definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.